Do you ever see another online store that has really cool feature or design that you like to put on your store, but maybe you don't know where to begin or don't write code at all? Well, I'm going to show you how to use AI to recreate these reusable sections for your store with no coding experience required. I've been writing code for over 7 years, and this AI creates pixel-perfect sections from screenshots in just seconds. All it takes is a few tools to craft your Shopify section perfectly, along with a couple of reliable prompts. You can use any LLM that you prefer, but in this guide, I'll show you a tool called V0 as well as CodePen to visualize the generated code quickly. In this guide, I take a cool design from Gymshark's homepage and recreate it in minutes with fully customizable options. Don't worry, I'll walk you through every step of the way. Oh yeah, and every tool I'm using here is completely free. Let's get started. Now we can get started really quickly only using a few tools. You can use whatever AI you want. If you prefer ChatGPT or Grok or something, go for it. I like using this tool, this V0, because it gives me the ability to preview my UI before I actually commit to using it, but I'll show you how to navigate that if it doesn't work. I'm also going to show you how to do this, but I'm going to show you the chat I just created because I'm on the free tier and I'm actually almost out of prompts for today, so I can't prompt anymore. I will show you exactly how I'm using it though. So the first thing that I do is I find a section that I actually want to use. So this is a common use case for me. If I come to Gymshark or another e-commerce store that has pretty cool design, I'll take a look and think, okay, that's a cool banner. Maybe I'll do that. Maybe I would like this collection showcase right here. That's pretty cool. A lot of cool things. The one thing I will warn you about, the AI does a really good job recreating like static things. So what I mean by that is this section right here is a good example. It just has text and a button, and a background image. Like it's pretty hard to screw that up. But when you come to something like maybe this collection, it gets a little bit trickier, specifically when you're trying to do things like having this little toggle when you hover, so it switches the images. Also, it's using the different variants, things like that, actual product data. So anytime it's using the Shopify Liquid objects, it has a little bit harder time and it might screw up more often. Whereas if you're doing something static, like a section like this, for example. So just to start with, I'm gonna do something basic. If you guys like this video and wanna see more, then I can show you how to make more complex things, kind of like this. But for the time being, I think this is a cool section. They kind of use it twice here and they just add a different background image, different text. So let's get started with this. First thing I'm gonna do, I'm gonna come in and I'm gonna make a screenshot of this. So only the section that I actually wanna recreate. So I'll take a screenshot like that. And then what I do is I come into this V0 and I am able to select this screenshot that I just took and click open. All right, so I've navigated to the chat that I just created a few moments ago. Like I said, I'm out of tokens today, so I can't really prompt anymore, but I'll show you exactly what I did. So after I hit OK, it then started going to work and created this first version of the section. So I see this and immediately I think, okay, this is pretty close. It just has some crazy text going on. This is your first time, you're probably like, no, this is way wrong. Don't worry, it's just because I've built things like this before, I know that it's just using the background image, the actual screenshot that I uploaded, and has the text in the background, but then it also has like real text on top. No need to panic. All I have to do is change the background image and I'm pretty sure this is gonna. But one thing I'm gonna point out is if you look at the code, it has this cool little toggle here. I can see this is fitnessbanner.tsx. This is a React file. It's using TypeScript. By default, V0, it uses React and I think ShadCN under the hood for its UI components. That's fine because it's smart and we can get this updated to what we actually want it to be. So the first thing that I'm gonna do after I get this and I verify this looks pretty good, I'm gonna say right here, can you provide me with the same interface but using vanilla HTML, CSS, and JavaScript? Okay, so basically saying, this looks pretty good, but instead of React code, can you please give it to me in HTML, CSS, and JavaScript, which is gonna get us closer, but it's not gonna get us all the way to our Shopify section file. But I'll show you what I mean. So after I prompt it with this follow-up, it says, sure, here you go. And it gives me these 3 files. So it's like, okay, here's the HTML. Obviously that looks like garbage, but that's because I can see it has styles and JavaScript, it's just not applying them. So what you can do with that point is you can click into these different files. You can come to the code and very easily, I use this tool called CodePen. It's absolutely free and it gives you an ability to easily like copy and paste and make sure something looks right. So I can copy that HTML in. I'll also come to this style. I'll copy this. And just doing those 2 alone, I should see a pretty good preview. Okay, cool. And it looks pretty much like we saw the other one, right? Like the React code, I mean, it's still got the incorrect background image, but I can tell like it's formatted correctly. So I'm pretty happy with that. But there's also a little tip that I like to use just because I really do like using this built-in preview thing. So if it does this to me and I can't see like a good preview, I will prompt it again and say, can you combine all the code into one file? That's kind of a little hack that you can do, and you can see it says, sure, here it is in one file. And I can open this, and then I have this preview again. So I can verify, okay, I see it all. It's like CSS, okay, HTML, and a little bit of JavaScript, perfect. The preview still looks good. I'm gonna fix that background image at some point, but cool. So that is, we're looking really good, but we need to do a few more things, right? Because when we're building a Shopify section file, we want it to be customizable. We don't want to have to go into the code every time to tweak and change the background image or the text or whatever. So the last prompt I will typically do is I will say, can you please make this file into a Shopify section file using Liquid? It should have customizable settings for the text, button text, and color, and choosing the background image. This is going to be like, okay, cool, here you go. And it gives us this built-in, not built-in, but this fitness banner liquid file, all right? Now you look at this preview and you're like, what on earth is this? No worries, it's just that this particular AI tool doesn't know how to render liquid files. It's not supported, but that's okay. That's why I wanted to make sure that the UI looked right before changing it into liquid, because once we move this into our Shopify theme, it will work, or it should work at least. So if I come into the file, I can see, okay, the HTML, I see some liquid here. Here's our schema that we're setting up. I still have all of my CSS and some JavaScript as well. Okay, that looks pretty good. So at this point, I'm assuming you can't see the preview yet, but because I've tested it prior, either in CodePen or via the built-in preview, what I can do is I can copy all of this code and I can come into my theme editor, and I'm just coming in into a duplicated theme, and I'm gonna come right here to edit code. I'm gonna create a new section file, and I'm gonna call this section file fitness banner. And then I'm gonna I'm gonna remove everything, and then I'm gonna copy that entire file in and click save. The one thing I wanna watch out for is here in the schema, I wanna make sure that this presets is set with this name so that I can add it in the customizer. So when I come here, I should now be able to come and add a section, and I believe it's called fitness banner. And if you're wondering what that name is, then all you have to do is look here in the code. It's gonna be the name here. You wanna make sure, yeah, it correlates here. So cool. So I've added this in, and you can see like there's a little bit of preview. There's text, but there's no background image. Totally fine. So I've gone and I've downloaded that background image file. It's not gonna be like the best quality image, but you can see now it doesn't have the words in the actual image itself because it was a screenshot, right? So I've added this and it looks really good. Let me just make sure that like these customizable settings are working. Okay, that looks good. We also need to add, probably link this to like a collection. Okay, that looks good. I can make sure that the background, okay, cool, button looks good. Yep, text is changing. And then the cool thing is like even gives you the ability to change the height if you want. So a lot of good customizable settings, and then the overlay opacity for the actual image itself. So this all looks really good, and you can see that I did zero custom coding. All I had to do was prompt this AI a little bit. So if you don't want to use this V0 tool, if you want to use just like Grok or ChatGPT, whatever your preferred choice is, you can totally follow the same exact steps. And instead of seeing the built-in preview, that's just why I like it. You can actually just copy and paste the code directly into a CodePen and make sure that the UI looks the way you want it to. So I hope this has been helpful. If you enjoyed this content, please let me know and I can create more, show you how to create like more advanced stuff using AI. But this has been your introduction to creating a Shopify section using AI. See you next time.